Hey guys, it's Will with Terrible Infant here with a very quick Blu-ray pickups video. Hey, guess what? Yesterday was my birthday. And as you may not know, I like movies and I like Blu-rays. And so guess what people got me for my birthday? They got me movies and Blu-rays. Yay! So I got some stuff from my brother-in-law, sister-in-law, and my niece. So big thank you to them and a shout out. And then also from my kids. So yay, hey guys, thanks. That's awesome. So what do we have here? I'm just going to try to go through this quickly. I don't want to talk too much. I don't want to get all up in your business. Holy motors, hell yes. This movie is completely insane, and it's French. And if you know anything about me, you know that I love completely insane movies, and I love French movies. So is it any wonder that I love this movie? This is Shot Factory release, but it's like called Shot Select. So I guess it's like their way of saying that this is like a prestige film type of thing. It's like their version of a Criterion type label, I guess. But this movie is completely bananas. And if you haven't seen it, I'm trying to get like an angle with no glare. If you haven't seen it, you should see it ASAP. It's kind of like about the history of cinema, I think. But it's told in such a way that it's like this character who goes around Paris in a limo doing all this insane crap. But like it ends up that one of the things is like kind of a monster movie, and one of the things is kind of a musical, and it seems like it's about the history of cinema and cinema's interaction with the public and stuff like that. It's really, really, really cool. The next thing I have is going to blow your mind because it blew my mind. Hey, look. Oh, yes. RoboCop is one of my favorite action movies. It's one of my favorite satires. It's one of my favorite 80s movies. It's my favorite Paul Verhoeven film, and I really like Paul Verhoeven. Look at that. That's all a list of bonus features. There's 2 cuts of the movie on here. So this is the Arrow release. If you didn't know, Arrow put out this like incredible Blu-ray release of RoboCop, and this is actually the Steelbook. And it just like there's 2 cuts of the film on here. There's the director's cut, and then there's the theatrical cut. They're the same length. So I'm very curious about what the difference is, because I was reading online that the director's cut is actually the more commonly available one on home video. It was just too violent to get like a theatrical release in 1987 or whatever. So if you saw it in theaters, you saw the theatrical version, but most likely if you've seen it since then, you've probably seen the director's cut. I don't know if that's true. It's just what I read. But I am definitely going to go, and we'll do like a more proper unboxing of this in the future, but just to give you some idea of like what's going on in here. So I'll definitely 100% do a you get like essays and like this is so awesome. I love this movie so much. So I will definitely do a review of this release, and I will talk to you all about all of those crazy bonus features that are on there, and then also talk about the differences between the 2 cuts of the film. So there you go. That's the Arrow release of RoboCop, and I could not be more excited about that. Speaking of could not be more excited about, this actually might be my favorite film of all time. Apocalypse Now. So if you watch our channel, you know that Mike and I actually were able to see the red carpet premiere of the final cut of Apocalypse Now. Coppola was there, Lawrence Fishburne was there, and like a bunch of the other actors from the film. John Milius, as the screenwriter, was there, and afterwards Coppola did like a Q&A. This is at the ArcLight Dome in Hollywood, and so this is a 6-disc release. It has 4K Blu-ray of the different cuts of the film, and then it has regular Blu-ray of also the different cuts of the film, which is the final cut, the original theatrical cut, and then the Redux. And then it also has Hearts of Darkness, the documentary about the making of Apocalypse Now. And then it also has, I think, about 10 hours of bonus features. So this was released by Lionsgate, and they did an incredible job with, wait for it, this, which is just Blu-ray. There's no 4K in here. And then this is before the final cut was released. So this is original cut, Redux, and the Hearts of Darkness documentary. There's like 9 hours of bonus material on here. And I think almost everything that's on here, or almost everything on that new one, is what's on this one already. But there's also an added Q&A, or like, I guess, discussion between Steven Soderbergh and Coppola about the final cut. And that was done at Tribeca or like the New York Film Festival or something like that. So that I think that's the I'm not 100% sure, but I think that's the only, other than obviously having the final cut, which is an amazing cut of the film, by the way. And I'll include a link in the description of this video to our review of that event, so you can go and see what we thought about it. But the I think that Q&A is the only thing that's new too, but like Coppola's commentary track on this release is just freaking incredible, and like you get that on that release. And as you can see, there's like pages from the original script in here. There's like these drawings, like film stills. I'm trying to find like Coppola's notes. So like this is probably the best Blu-ray release I own of like a single film. I know there's like multiple cuts plus the documentary, but it's really just about one film, right? I would say that that's the best release I own for just one film. So this is like that on steroids. I'm really excited. I'm actually going to do a video once I watch all of that, comparing those two sets to one another. And I think they're both like $25, which is like dirt cheap for how much you get. Okay, so before I show you the final two things that I have in hand, I also got a Criterion gift card from my parents. So big shout out to my parents. Thank you for that. And I will be spending that once it's in my hands. It's on the way right now. But so I'll have more movies to show off then. And then also I got from one of my, I have two sons, from one of my sons, plus the dogs went in on it with him because I have two dogs. I got Come and See, which is one of my all-time favorite movies. And it's hard to describe my relationship with that movie because that movie left a bigger impression on me than most other movies I've ever seen. But it's not like a favorite in that, like, here's a comfort movie I'm going to watch on a Friday night. I'm going to see it 1,000 times. I'm going to show it to my friends. I'm going to show it to my wife. I'm going to show it to my parents. Like, it's a really freaking brutal, intense, harrowing experience, but it's one of the most thoroughly amazing, completely enveloping, original cinematic experiences I've ever had. It's a mind-blowing film, one of the best films I think that has ever been made. It's about the Nazi invasion of Belarus during World War II, and it's just, it can't be described. Like, you really just have to see it. But it's like, I would compare it to Apocalypse Now, Schindler's List, like that kind of movie that's just like this huge, enormous thing that you can barely conceive of that just crushes you. So, and then they also got me Nashville, the Robert Altman film, which I'm really, really excited to watch. I've been reading a book called Easy Riders, Raging Bulls about that generation of filmmakers in like the late 60s into the 70s. There's like a big section about Altman, which I read. And so I'm really, really excited to, I've never seen Nashville before. So I'm really, really excited. And I also have The Player. Where is it? Right here, Criterion edition of The Player, which is a Robert Altman film to watch. So what do I have next? This is a double feature. I was really, really excited to get this. My older son got it for me. The backstory is that in January, we went to a birthday party from one of my older son's classmates, and it was Frozen themed. So you know where this is heading. I had never seen Frozen. And I think my wife had seen it because she's a teacher, like an elementary school teacher, so she like had to see it at some point. But the party favor at the party was the book for Frozen 2. It's like a little storybook, picture book, and that sat on the shelf for like a couple months. And then the whole coronavirus lockdown happened, and my son was like pulling a bunch of books off the shelves. We've been reading a ton of books, and he's like, "Hey, what's this?" And he became obsessed with Frozen 2. And he started asking me all these questions about Frozen and Frozen 2 and the characters and stuff. I'm like, dude, I don't know. Like, I've never seen those movies. I can't answer your questions. So for my birthday, hey, guess what he got me? Both of them. I'm a Frozen stan now. So I'll tell you straight up, I'm like one of the most cynical people on earth about film studios, film companies, culture as products, like that kind of thing. And I hate Disney as a company, even though there are some Disney films I really like. I love Enchanted, I love Ratatouille, which I know is Pixar, but like, you know, Disney owns Pixar. I'm very, very cynical about these things. This is like my new favorite movie. I'm going to do a video, like we do this show called First Watch where we give our first impressions of a film. And I just watched this for the first time. So I'm going to do an episode of that. This is a 37-year-old man seeing Frozen for the first time. But this is like the Blu-ray, DVD, and digital edition. But I love this movie. I loved it. And also, I will say, controversial opinion, I loved Frozen 2. And my son actually likes Frozen 2 more than he likes Frozen 1. He keeps asking to watch it like again and again and again. I know that some people didn't like this movie. And again, I'll do a first watch episode and I'll really kind of dive into my feelings on Frozen 2. But I understand why people might not like it. But I disagree with those people. And I really, really enjoyed this film. And like, I think the music is great in this movie. the score, especially, I know like the songs are what these films are known for. I do really like the songs of both of the movies. But I think Frozen 2 has like a really great score. It kind of reminds me of like Harry Potter a little bit. It reminds me of Lord of the Rings. And then parts of it also really remind me of the score for The Mummy, the Brendan Fraser, Rachel Weisz, the Steven Sommers movie from, I think, did that come out in 1999 or 2000? I think 1999. I love that movie. That's the movie that I would watch when I was younger. Like every time I would get sick and I was like at home recovering with like cold fever or whatever, and I just wanted to throw on like a comfort movie, I would always watch The Mummy, and then The Mummy Returns too, which I also really love. So, fun fact, my little brother and I saw Mummy Returns in theaters, and I was like, I think 19 when that movie came out, but my brother's 8 years younger than me, so he was 11, and we wrapped him in toilet paper and like dressed him up like a mummy and everything. It was really fun. So there you go. So those are my birthday Blu-ray pickups. This is Terrible Infant. My name is Will. If you feel like subscribing, go ahead and do so. That would be awesome. Thank you so much. In the description of the video, you will find links to our web stores, to our Patreon. I know these are tough financial times for people because of everything that's happening with COVID-19. So, I am in no way saying that you have to do that, or that we expect you to do that, but the information is there if you want to find it, and that's about that. So like I said, we'll be back with those episodes of First Watch. We got a lot more Blu-ray content coming, a lot more movie content coming for you. Thanks you so much for watching the channel, and we will see you next time.